to do is talk about paradigm flexibility. You know what a paradigm is?
Well, a paradigm in business, it's a box of 4 sides that a lot of people put themselves in, and when they don't want to try new ideas or new things, they stay in the box and end up losing for themselves, their company, and their family.
In the context of business and for us for solving problems, the paradigm paralysis, if you will, what it does is it prevents us from solving a problem that we may need to solve to make the product to market on time, this kind of thing. And so what we have to do is teach our employees that there's different ways to look at things. And I like to do this with an example. I have a Roman numeral here, and I'd like the audience to change this Roman numeral by adding one line only to the number 6. Change this Roman numeral by adding one line only to the number 6.
Now, that's the Roman number 9.
Well, that's correct. Okay? And before I'm going to let you have some time to do that, what I'd like to do in the adaptability part is talk about what is the glue that holds the adaptability part together. Now, we spend about 40 to 50 minutes on talking about adaptability when we do this class, and we only have a few minutes to spend here. But I like to give a visual on this. I have a paper here, and I like to use this as a metaphor. Okay, it's a normal paper, and in the metaphoric sense, every time I rip the paper, it's bad things that happen to you in your life. What are some bad things that happen to you in your life, Vince?
Well, a lot of people, loss of a loved one, loss of a job, loss of an order for a salesperson, your kid getting in trouble. That's you getting in trouble.
You getting in trouble, okay. Or a divorce.
That could happen, sure.
Yeah.
Some of the fears people have is those things. Speaking in front of the public, it doesn't bother you or me, but a lot of people, when they're asked to speak, think that's a bad thing that's happening.
Well, it used to bother me, to be honest with you. I'd say just take practice. But you know, I've done this a lot now, and
I've always been fascinated by this.
Yeah. Well, one person brought up when I talked about what happens to people in their lives. They brought up Christopher Reeve.
Oh,
Christopher Reeve had he had everything, and then he's kind of lost everything, right? Okay, and he could just shrivel up, go away, but what has he done?
He's tremendous positive attitude.
That's it. It's attitude. And just as with this paper, when you have an attitude, a positive attitude, you can put your life back together. And that's the key to adaptability. Not only the paradigm flexibility, but your attitude. Your attitude is the control panel of your life. And that's the thing that will make it happen for you. Okay.
People that don't have a positive attitude are...
When I talked about paradigm flexibility,
right,
and I asked you to solve this problem.
Just one line.
Just one line. Now, how many people took the one line and made an S and made that a 6?
Just with an S in front.
Just with an S in front, like this.
I hope thousands of our viewers.
Thousands? You only got thousands?
Thousands.
Or millions by now, Vince. Okay, the letter 6. And what we're saying is that it limits you because you were trying to make a what? A Roman numeral.
Right. Because you saw the Roman numeral,
right,
and you were in that paradigm box of Roman numerals.
It restricted you from solving the problem. Now, I get a lot of, funny answers and discussions about that, but I think it makes the point. What I'd like you to do, moving on to the audience, to duplicate this drawing.
On the pad and the pencil, we'll ask him, all right, would you explain in the last 30 seconds here until our break, just explain what you'd like him to do, draw that, and then we'll get back to the finish.
Okay, what I'd like you to do is draw this diagram without removing your pencil from the paper. And you have to figure out how to do that.
That's including the dot.
That's including the dot. The dot has to be in the middle, and you have to do that, and you can't take your pencil or have somebody help you. It has to be you. And some people have a ballpoint pen, and they retract the ballpoint pen. That's not what I'm looking for.
No, that's to say, all right, that's interesting. Let's get back to that after the break.
Okay.
You're watching the Cerny Success Show with ideas to help you become more successful. I am your host, Vincent Cerny, and with me is Mr. Ed Rose from the Harris Semiconductor, and we're talking about things that Harris does to be more successful.
What I'd like to do, Vince, is give you one of my business cards.
Well, thank you. You saw that on one of my previous shows.
Yes, I did, Vince. I learned quick.
Well, it's always one of the little successful traits is giving a business card and making a big deal out of it. And you said in the Orient,
in Asia, they say that they consider it disrespectful
if you don't read
if
it.
you don't read it before you put it in your pocket. And you know, I usually take a business card and just, but you know, I started now.
You have to recognize it, read it.
Makes sense, right? If I take the time to give you my business card, you should recognize it.
That's where the implication is implied and very strong.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, did anybody figure this out? Well, hopefully you did. Let me show you how you do this. What you do here is fold the paper into the middle, like so, and you make your dot on the paper right here. And we see this, hopefully. And you come down, you run down here on the paper where you're not, and you come out here like this. And hopefully you got that on the camera.
And
but
your
then
pen
that's not
never
much
left
in the center because I'm kind of doing it upside down. My pen never, what happens is that people, when they try to solve the problem, there's two elements in the problem, the paper and the pen, and people only try to deal with the pen and don't use the other element of the problem. They manipulate the pen all night long, but they don't try to manipulate the paper. And that's what we talk about, being resourceful. And sometimes you have to get asked for help, get other people involved, go find out if anybody else is doing this. Remember, these are simulations that we're trying to teach our people to be more resourceful in solving their problems, more adaptable, and to be trustworthy. And you know, they want us to trust them, but you know, to be trusted, one must be trustworthy. So all these, you know, work together.
No